Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast brought to you commercial free by another podcast. You've subscribed to ours, now subscribe to theirs. It's the Slow County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. When you're done with this, go listen to something that will actually enrich your life. California DRE 011111911.
I know that there's a lot of private jets and planes and things of that nature in the area between Paso Robles and San Luis Obispo airports. Good morning. It is Jeff and Jeremy. This woman in Oklahoma was arrested for DUI, not outside the airport, but actually on the runway. The tower had to call the cops because they're like, hey, some woman's out on the runway. She's getting out of her car. The car's in the middle of the runway. So they go out to talk to her. And
she's getting out of her car. What the hell's the car doing in the middle of the runway?
Well, she'd been drinking. I think she was lost. I think she got drunk.
She thought that was the road?
And then she couldn't figure out how to get out of the airport, and she was driving down the runway.
When you were drinking, were you just drinking at the hangar? Or were you, okay.
Oh, okay. She was just drinking at the hangar. When's the last time you hung out at a hangar and got hammered? But I mean, maybe if you have a private jet, you have like a private bar in there.
There was a kid's school benefit once at the old ACI facility.
Here we go.
Okay, but you were just parked and drinking?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the gentleman that stopped you while you were on the road here?
No. I don't even know that guy.
Well, I know. They don't really know you either, other than they saw you driving. And the fact, too, I think...
I didn't do anything.
The control tower called us saying you were blocking the runway and driving around on the runway.
Okay. Very nice guy.
Nice Not officer. A lie. This is a true story. Okay. And I know this because I grew up by the airport, and I thought, man, that's pretty dangerous, because if it was just on the other side of the airport, they could have crashed into our house. There was a Ruski who had been drinking too much vodka. He was a pilot of the plane, and this was in the late 80s, early 90s.
Commercial or private?
Commercial plane. Commercial Russia flight from Moscow to Seattle.
Oh, okay.
And I grew up right by the Seattle airport. And this plane mistook... So you know that there's two major roads that run north and south on each way on each side of the airport. There's 512, which is a little freeway that pops into West Seattle, on the I guess west side of the airport. On the east side of the airport, there's 99, but there's also I-5. They run kind of right next to each other. The Ruski pilot mistook 512 for the runway, because most people traveled on 99 and I-5. Mistook 512 for the runway and made an approach at 512, was going to land his plane on the freeway on 512 because it's right next to the runway.
How big a plane are we talking?
This was a 747.
This is a jumbo jet. This is a big boy.
International. Yeah, and he didn't see the runway over on the Mesa, because they built up the runway a little bit higher than 512 and where everybody lives.
It's a little bit higher than the highway.
Things and all that stuff. And so he tried to make an approach on that, and then the air traffic control is like, no, you can't do that. But there was a language barrier there. He wasn't understanding because...
How about all the cars on the freeway that were driving? All the red lights and white lights, and what the hell? How drunk are you?
3 approaches on 512 before finally somebody was able to find somebody who spoke fluent Russian and could talk to him and be like, that is not the runway. The runway's off to your right. Oh, okay. And he circled back around.
Power back up. Can you imagine driving on the freeway and seeing a 747 jumbo jet coming right at you?
I guess they don't got this thing cleared off yet. We got to make another approach.
See, you can't feel so bad for somebody. You get a little drunk and turned around. There's a lot of roads on an airport that are runways and
this
taxi lanes. And
a reminder, don't drink and drive this holiday season.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. 93.3 KZOZ rocks.
Jeff and Jeremy here online at KZOZ.com. The holidays are upon us. There's so many great things happening where you can help out your community, and this Chips for Kids. What do you guys call this again? We got the CHP here. We got Jordan Richards, Officer Mike Brown, and Hannah Sharon from Friday Night Live collecting toys for kids in our community.
Yeah, it's much similar to the Toys for Tots that the Marine Corps runs. We do the Chips for Kids, California Highway Patrolman for Kids. We've been doing this for about 40 years now.
Okay. All right.
Oh, geez.
So what offices are you guys out of on the Central Coast? Are you SLO, you North County, South County?
Yeah, so Mike Brown and myself were out of the San Luis Obispo office.
Oh, okay. All right. Because Jeff was telling me that the guys in Templeton are complaining about that monstrosity across the street, the sheriff's building.
So I gotta ask you a question. Would you talk to the Templeton guys? I mean, I'm sure you're all a team, right? You talk to the Templeton guys quite a bit.
Yeah, really close with them.
Is there a little bit of
What, are they putting a gym in there? They got a spa?
Why do they have a castle? Why do the county sheriffs get a castle and you guys just get that single level?
Yeah, Templeton gets like a brick building from 1978, I believe was construction date on that. But we're here to serve, so we don't care about that kind of stuff, right? We're here for the people.
Like, those guys are just out on the freeway most of the time. They don't need a castle like we do.
Yeah, we don't want to build them a nice office, and they'll just be sitting in the office. We want them out there on the beat.
Hey, the rest of us wouldn't mind that if you were in the office more. We got Hannah Sharon here for Friday Night Live. Hi, Hannah. Tell us about how you guys are involved with this whole process.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So the Friday Night Live program is a statewide youth development program that focuses on healthy choices for middle and high school students. And part of the education we do is around substance use prevention and traffic safety, which is how we are closely working with the CHP. We are also here promoting another event called the Reindeer Run, which is a 5K hosted on December 7th in San Luis Obispo. And the CHP partners with us there as well to raise money for senior scholarships for high school students that participate in our program.
Friday Night Live has probably changed over the years, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
With certain things becoming legal in the state, and then also when those certain things come legal in the state, the focus for youth maybe not on the things that were illegal to them in the beginning. And to talk a little bit about impaired driving overall, as opposed to what was just commonly known as drinking and driving in the past.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think we're talking about maybe marijuana as one of...
I know. What is you don't want to say the word, Jeff?
Yeah, it's
weed,
like
man.
Voldemort.
It's called
like Voldemort
weed.
to me.
Yeah, and it's exactly the same. You're either under the influence of some type of drug or alcohol, and all the tests are pretty much the same to determine whether they're under the influence of marijuana, a drug, or a alcohol.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's a common misnomer amongst people that use marijuana or THC or whatever you want to call it, and they think that it's totally cool because of the legal status that it's gotten. But no, it's just as deadly as being under the influence of alcohol. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. If you've ever smoked weed or marijuana, you know that you're going to be under the influence for a period of time.
I mean.
Wait. What did you say? I know this guy for 30 years.
Wait, I'm not under oath. This is not a courtroom, okay?
Yeah, what?
This is not a courtroom.
Joe, quit lying. All right, so it's important to know that being impaired is being impaired, and you guys obviously have ways to detect both. That's a big part of what Friday Night Live is about. Not just about being impaired, but not doing it because you're underage. Right, Hannah?
Yeah, absolutely. So even though cannabis has been legalized in California, we do work with minors under the age of 21. So our messaging to them is don't do it at all. But we do tackle that in a much more progressive way than the program used to back in the early 90s. And rather than just telling them no, we're looking at the reasons why they're making the choices to use these substances. And a lot of that has to do with mental health. So we do a lot of mental health education, awareness, prevention, and helping our students find healthier coping mechanisms for anxiety, depression, burnout, and stress that comes with being a young person today.
So what is the Reindeer Run and how do we get involved?
The Reindeer Run is a 5K fun run, open to the whole family. You can walk, you can run, bring your pets, bring a costume. Registration costs $25. You can register on our website, slowfnl.com. That's SLOFNL.com. The run, like I said, all the money goes to supporting senior scholarships, and you also get a t-shirt and a breakfast. We're raffling off a ton of cool prizes. It's in Mitchell Park at 9 a.m. this Saturday, December 7th.
Cool. And then Chips for Kids, the next 2 weekends at the Walmart locations in the county, right?
Correct.
Okay. And what are the hours and days in which they'll run? Like, is it Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah, so it's December 6th, 7th, and 8th, and then 13th, 14th, and 15th. And they're all from about 10 to 5.
10 to 5. Okay, so when you're doing your Christmas shopping,
yeah, it's super easy.
Make eye contact with them, and I'm sure, make yourself known that you're giving toys, because it might help you out if you're just like going like 5 or 10 over.
Hey, don't be making promises.
Hey, I gave you guys toys.
I'm only laughing because I feel uncomfortable.
All right, so Paso Robles, Rio Grande, Santa Maria. That's this weekend, the next, and the next. You can drop by toys, and don't forget to check out slofnl.com. That's Slow FNL's FridayNightLive.com to find out more about the Reindeer Run and all the great things that they're doing to help keep our kids sober, which is very important. Nice to have you guys in.
Thank you for having
Thank you
us.
so much.
When are we doing the Red Zone picks, by the way? Thursday's the takeover, so we'll probably do it, Wednesday? Probably do it tomorrow. We'll do the picks, the 3 closest games of the week. Unless you want to air it on Friday, but there is Thursday Night Football. You'll have to make the decision on that.
What's the Thursday night football game?
Is it the Jets and the Bears?
Oh, it's the Lions and the Packers.
Oh, it's the Lions and the Packers. Okay. So, anyways, Jeff's going to have to figure out what he wants to do there. But we want to say congratulations.
We might just eliminate that game.
To Sean Gabalka of AG. He's our winner for week number 13. He got all 16 right. He was the closest in the tiebreaker. So he gets $25 to go to the poorhouse. He also gets that free inspection from Be Right There Heating and Air with the filter. And he's one step closer to winning that $1,000 cash. And of course, the big 50-inch TV with soundbar from Coast Electronics. You can still play. Plus, you can save my season. That's a $50 gift card to the poorhouse and Be Right There Heating and Air.
Doing a good job with it. You're picking the right ones. You're picking the right listeners. You just can't pick the right games. It's crazy.
The problem is, I'm just picking whoever sends in the picks first.
I know.
Or at least
so it's
according,
like literally, this is the whole monkey or the kindergarten class picking the stocks against Wall Street type scenario.
Right.
And the monkeys and the kindergartners are winning. Not to call anybody monkeys and kindergartners that are listening to us that have won, but they're doing a good job.
So can we do the picks on Friday then? After the takeover, Friday morning, maybe get the crew on live?
So the integrity of the Red Zone Challenge is that we pick the 3 closest spreads of the week. I gotta think, that's one of the best games on the docket for sure.
Red Zone right now has Thursday Night Football. Detroit, 84% of people in the Red Zone are taking Detroit, so it's not really close.
They're 3.5 point favorites. They're 3.5 point favorites with a 51.5 over under. There's going to be some scoring in that one.
Seattle, Arizona right now is at a 50-50 deadlock. The game is Arizona. I could see that'll be one that we'll be picking. Chicago, San Francisco, 75-25. People are leaning towards the 49ers. What are the... Anyways, that could be a game we could talk about. And definitely Cincinnati, Dallas should be a game we talk about.
So right now, the 3 closest, if we take 3.5 point spreads, Detroit's a 3.5 point spread, but we can slot, which we probably would have done anyways, Kansas City and Los Angeles Chargers. And we can go with the Seahawks and the Cardinals and the Jaguars and the Titans. So the Jaguars and the Titans would take place of the really bad game will take the place of the really good game that will be played on Thursday night.
That is not going to be a good game. Detroit is going to destroy Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. Yes, he will.
Aaron Rodgers has nothing to do with the Packers.
Oh, what am I talking about?
Jordan Love.
Never mind.
You see Packers and you see Rodgers.
I see Rodgers and I see Jets. I don't know what it is. I'm looking at it. It says Green Bay and I think Rodgers, then I think Jets. And I'm thinking Detroit's going to destroy the Jets. But no, they're not playing the Jets. They're playing the Packers.
So the integrity of the Red Zone challenges, we pick the 3 closest games. We always default to the better game on the docket with the higher over-under. The over-under in that game is 51.5. Okay. If there's a tie, it's 40 for the Jaguars and the Titans.
Okay. All right, so there you go. Friday morning, we'll do the 3 closest games of the week. Congratulations to Kyle Rasmussen, who won the Save Jeremy season after going 3-0. Nice work. He gets $50 to the poorhouse and Be Right There Heating and Air. You'll have the same chance to do that Friday morning when we break down these 3 games. You just text in who the 3 winners are going to be. If you get 2 out of 3 correct, you win.
Which Okay, go back 15 years. Which one would you say was more corrupt, the NFL or college football? 15 years ago.
Oh, probably NFL.
Now, which one's more corrupt?
College football.
Everybody thought that the big scandal at the University of Michigan is when they beat the Ohio State Buckeyes, and they ran to the middle of the field with their flag to plant the flag in the middle of the O at whatever the stadium is in Ohio State. And then Ohio State and Michigan got in a big fight. Maybe that was a little sleight of hand to hide the real scandal, but I guess it's really not a scandal anymore because college football, as we established a little bit ago, is corrupt. So we're familiar with Larry Ellison.
Isn't everything corrupt nowadays? I mean, our politicians, our political, everything seems to be corrupt. If there's a way to get around it, I mean, our college students are using ChatGPT, is it GPT?
ChatGPT, yeah. 94% of papers score well they're not sniffed out when they're being used AI when they tune them in. So now when they teach classes in Michigan, it's like they're like, okay, they teach the kids that are going there, go out and find a really rich person to marry that's old, and if you're pretty, marry that person, and then have them give money back to us. And if we need to secure a big recruit, because this is exactly what has happened. Okay, Larry Ellison's 80 years old, which I'm gonna share this with you so you can see, because I don't think we get to see Larry Ellison all that much. He's not old looking, 80 years old at all. Like Joe Biden gotta go get some information from his plastic surgeon, because Larry Ellison is a good looking guy for 80 years of age. Let's see here. I gotta find the right one.
That's good to know. I saw something the other day. What's the owner's name of the Raiders? What's his name?
He's not a good looking guy.
But he's got a smoking hot, young girlfriend, and apparently he said, "Oh, she never knew I was a billionaire. She just liked my smile." Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude, you look like Corky,
and your bowl cut.
Corky,
yeah. You have a bowl cut. Dude, no, they know you have money, okay? And all the women in that town that are looking for a ticket out of whatever situation led them to Las Vegas, they know who you are, bro. But Larry Ellison, and that's his wife that is sitting next to him there. Any guess on how old she is, Jeremy?
Young.
He's 80.
Under 30.
She's 33.
Oh, okay. She is? Okay.
She's 33. But she's a recent graduate of the University of Michigan. And she's also on the Boosters Club there at the University of Michigan. He made I gotta go read it. I'm gonna have to leave that up there for a second. Sorry, I don't want to get too behind the scenes here. But so it was a $4 million donation to the Boosters Club.
Okay.
And then magically they were able to, with that $4 million donation, they were able to talk the Louisiana State University recruit, the best quarterback recruit in the nation, talk him out of being a Tiger and to be a Wolverine. It's just amazing. Wow. Now, this is his fourth.
Now, does he get some of that money? Is it legal for that?
This is his fifth wife.
Kid to get some money? Because I know students can go out and sign contracts to endorse products, but I thought that was the only way they were able to make money as a student athlete at the college level.
Yes, was to get endorsements and things like that.
Yeah, not just.
I don't know.
I don't think the school's still allowed to pay them. Are they?
Once you allow for that, though, I mean,
for example, and I know you're not a fan, and you shouldn't be because they choked, but up until they lost their last 3 games, the quarterback John Mateer for the Washington State Cougars was getting, offered a couple $1 million to go play somewhere else, and it was donors or it was endorsements that would take him there.
Yes,
Why would he
like,
not go get paid $3+ million to play at another university in endorsement contracts? That money is coming from the community.
Despite the fact that he's the worst clock management quarterback I've ever seen at any level
he's
of
a young
football.
kid. He's only a sophomore. He's a redshirt sophomore. So, the thing is, that's probably more on the coach. But
Yeah.
they fired their defensive coordinator, and their offensive coordinator said, "Oh, by the way, I'm going to Oklahoma, the Oklahoma State University." No, I don't know where he's going. He's going to like Ohio State or Oklahoma. I think he's going to Oklahoma, and so he's going to be a Sooner. He's going to be so now we have no coordinators and just one really bad, unexperienced young coach at Washington State University.
Looking good there in the Mountain West. Big 12 or whatever it is.
It was
Pac-12.
It was the Pac-12. It was the top. It won't be anymore.
Okay,
but
you're doing it wrong. Go get some of the young, recently graduated students that love their university so much to go court people like Larry Ellison to where he can make a $4 million donation to the program. And then, because this is what Nate Forbes, he's the chairman of the Champions Circle Booster Collective for the University of Michigan, says, "I want to personally thank Larry and his wife, Jolynn," who's the girl that I just showed you, who were instrumental in making this all happen. There's got to be some kind of payoff there. Yeah, how are you not doing that? So even if it's not direct, and even okay, come to Michigan, we'll give you $4 million. Even if it's not direct in that aspect, what it can be
there's got to be some money.
You give the money to a car
a lot of money in this town.
And Ann Arbor, and you're like, hey, you know what? Give this guy a deal for driving a Corvette or something like that.
Paul Wolf needs to go, and he needs to get some money in this town to add a little stability to the Cal Poly Mustang football team.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Why not?
Because we're all about integrity.
Didn't you say like one of the head guys in Amazon lives here or something? You gave him an Uber ride, or what? What was it? What was the richest guy?
No, it was.
What was the richest guy you ever gave a ride to?
He doesn't live here anymore. He was CEO of GoDaddy.
Oh, there you go.
But he's recently.
There's got to be another guy like that around here somewhere.
I forget what his name was.
You know how many private jets are sitting over at the San Luis Obispo Airport in hangars that we can't see?
No, there's money, but
ACI?
they don't care about football.
We need to go talk to the ACI guys. Hey, I need to get your client list. We need to ask them for some money.
It's a surfing place. It's not like
We need to pump up this Cal Poly football team.
Nobody's going to be pumping money into the football program at Cal Poly like Larry Ellison does for his wife. 80 years old. His wife's 33. Nobody even knew that they were married until just recently when this news all came out.
I thought he was babysitting her for a while.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. Listen online at kzoz.com.
Jeff and Jeremy in the Morning podcast brought to you commercial free by another podcast. You've subscribed to ours, now subscribe to theirs. It's the SLO County Real Estate Podcast with Hal Swayze. When you're done with this, go listen to something that will actually enrich your life. California DRE 01111 911.